Parts 1 and 2 tell the story of two magnificent solar eclipses across the United States. Rises the story of Egypt. The inquisitive French explored the regions of Little Egypt, Illinois, long ago. The ancient Egyptian religion worshipped or followed the sun for the sake of a calendar. The sun was their main god and called this brilliance of the sky Ra. The French commander Napoleon and his army marched down the Nile River to explore Egypt. Afterwards came the linguist Jean Champollion to Egypt, affirming his insights on ancient Egyptian writing. Back in France, armed with many notes on his expedition, with the help of astronomer Jean Baptiste, in the spring of 1831, at the Academy of Science, the audience was captivated by Champollion's lecture that eclipse cycles and solstices help date ancient astronomical events. The Egyptian obsession with sun worship, but did not notice the eclipse's true revelation despite many solar eclipses crisscrossing the Nile Valley many centuries ago. The moon has an elliptical orbit, meaning there are times the moon is furthest away from the earth and times when it is closest to the earth. The moon's orbit around the earth is tilted by 5 degrees to the ecliptic. If this was not so, then there would be an eclipse every new moon and full moon. In this case, for an eclipse to occur, the moon must intercept at or near the ascending or descending nodes. At such an alignment, the moon will cast a shadow manifesting a solar eclipse, or the earth cast a shadow to view a lunar eclipse. Because the moon's orbit is elliptical, 3 types of eclipses can occur. They are total, annular, and partial, appearing as a tiny bite of the sun's disk. Amongst their chapters and explanations of eclipses and the joyous dance of the sun and the moon, celebrating their swirling dance that mirrors prophetic time. But first, the mechanics of an eclipse, repetition known by the Chaldean word that is saros. Knowledge of eclipses is like biblical prophecy. It repeats and enlarges understanding. The Saros family cycles are identified by the Saros series number. The eclipses across Illinois are perceived to be separated by 7 years, but are in fact separated by 138 years from conception. The 2024 eclipse cycle had its beginning in the 16th century in the year 1501 and will end in the year 2763. This cosmic attention seeking continues for 1262 years and shall end and begin a completely new Saros series. Astronomers call this Saros series number 139. The 2017 eclipse cycle had its beginning in the year 1639 and will end in the year 3009. This Saros series is number 145. Come the year 2763 and the year 3009, the shadow will pass far above or below the earth. The nodes are in alignment again on the plane of the ecliptic. The cycle will start again, casting the shadow, with eclipses occurring every 18 years, 11.3 days, spanning more than 1,200 years, and the phenomena to start new again. His booklet, The Story of Eclipses, is excellent to comprehend the rhythmic resonances of the moon and sun, linked together by 18 years and 11 days. Chambers mentions in the other book, Handbook on Astronomy, an ancient philosopher who records the solar and lunar eclipses in Egypt. The eclipse cycles can span between 1,200 and 1,300 years. In the 18th year, when the Saros ends, there would have been 70 eclipses. This would have spanned 1,260 years, which is the mean of such cycles. At the end of the Saros period, the moon will be in the same position as the sun and nearly in the same part of the sky. Before losing his head at the guillotine during the Reign of Terror in France, astronomer Jean Baptiste story is quoted many times by biblical scholars about the gospel in the stars, but only a sentence or two are quoted regarding the Sphinx, the Greek verb sphygos, meaning to tighten, to clasp or bind together. Hence, the Sphinx is bound together by a lion and a woman. His understanding of Egyptian star law starts in Virgo and ends in Leo, the lion. A crucial understanding of the constellation ending in Leo comes to prominence during the eclipse of 2017, that is, the 19 eclipse years arriving at the same position in the sky, the constellation Leo. Jean-Philippe Loïs de Chezot, he is known for plotting the orbital position of the six-tailed comet of 1744. Like many before him, attempted dating the crucifixion of Jesus the Christ. He was a Swiss theologian, and his method of dating this epoch at noon, where the vernal equinox meets the meridian in Jerusalem. He mathematically searched and followed through eclipse cycles that occurred after Jesus' death. In doing so, he uncovered the cyclical character of the sun and moon's relation to prophetic time of 2,300 years, 1,260 years, and the difference of 1,040 years. His astronomical remarks on the book of Daniel's celestial oracle are that in a cycle of 315 years, a figure that is 1/4 of 1,260, the sun returns to the same point on the ecliptic exactly. He is an English astronomer known for his study of sunspots and the solar magnetic cycles. Chapter 6 in his book, The Astronomy of the Bible, expounds on the cycle of Daniel. He says 2,300 solar years is an exact not only of synodic months, but also the anomalistic months. If we take the mean of these three periods, the anomalistic months, the synodic months, and solar years, that the cycle is to say 840,057 days. He says it brings into harmony the day, the anomalistic month, the ordinary month, and the solar year. It is from this point of view the most perfect cycle known. The 2,300 year cycle gives evidence of more accurate knowledge of the respective lengths of month and year than is involved in the eclipse cycle of 19 years known to the Babylonians and the Greeks. Dawson was an engineer for the Canadian Department of Marine and Fisheries, producing tide tables for all principal harbours in Canada. He was knowledgeable in astronomy and wrote a 20-page article that's quoted in many books regarding his works on the further discovery of the Daniel cycle. Solar and lunar cycles are implied in the prophetic numbers in the book of Daniel in relation to celestial cycles. The numbers 1,260 and 2,300 are taken as solar years and prove to be strikingly correct solar-lunar cycles. To say that prophetic time is just literal time, but one would not see these revelations, times that span many years of the sun and the moon's dance together. Dawson's discovery of the 2,300 and the 1,600 year periods may be expected to be fulfilled on either a lunar or a solar scale, and perhaps both. Instead of the method adopted by Chezot in dealing with the numbers in the book of Daniel, he takes them as lunar years. The mean of these two periods, or their half sum, proves to be an exact number of solar years. Ethelbert Bullinger was an Anglican clergyman educated at King's College, London. He is a descendant of the Swiss reformer Johann Heinrich Bullinger. In the two eclipses that occur over the United States, the sun and the moon come to Leo in 2017 and to Pisces in 2024. Bullinger, in his book Witness of the Stars, draws out the story of these two constellations. He leans heavily on the research on star names by Miss Frances Rolleston, famous for her book called Mazzaroth. The biblical significance of the constellation Pisces at Jesus' crucifixion, the vernal equinox began to be noticeable at the main star called Al-Rishah, or in Latin, nodus, the knot, in the cord that holds the two fish together. The vernal equinox has moved out of Aries through Pisces, and now the precession of the equinox, or if you will, the index of time, is heading towards Aquarius. On the opposite side of the sky is the autumnal equinox, which is heading from Virgo into Leo, where Bullinger explains the end story of the Mazzaroth. The prophetic time of 2,300 solar lunar years will conclude at the heart of the line. That is Regulus, the Little Prince. The beginning of that 2,300 year cycle began in the mid-1840s when 50,000 American farmers put down tools with the expectation of the coming Lord. The time is known as the Great Disappointment amongst Christian chronology. Ethelbert Bullinger believes this last chapter of the story in Leo is the Messiah's consummated triumph, and so it is.